Hello world, and welcome back to Minecraft Memoir. This is episode 41. In the last episode, we really chugged along here working on the library, and it's come along very nicely. I haven't worked on it at all in between last episode and this, since I was on vacation. It was the 2022-2023 winter holiday, so I went up north to visit some family and it was great, exactly what I needed. Some parts of the trip were really inspirational, others were kind of dull, but I am glad to be back. I figured out a lot of things that I want to put in my world while I was away. I had so much time, I was just kind of brainstorming the whole trip. But yeah, we haven't done anything in the world though in between episodes. In this episode, I think we're going to get a bunch of the library work done. I've got some announcements to make, and I think we'll work on some side builds if we have time, because I think just working on the library straight, is getting a little boring. I want to break it up some. Oh, mobs just spawned in. Anyway, let's get started. So, first and foremost, we hit 50 subs over the break. Thank you guys so much. It feels like I was just saying this for 25 subs. I suppose, we are kind of in the early stage, so we might get these early milestones pretty quickly, and then we'll slow down as our, the number increases, but the rate doesn't. So, but still, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. We're actually at 55 now, so almost there for 100. I'm actually not sure why I'm over here. I wanted to go to the chests. But yeah, I was trying to think like how feasible. Okay, I don't remember any of my chest sorting. That's really nice. I was trying to think how feasible would it be for me to get 100 subs before we reach episode 50. And I actually think it's possible, but I don't think it's really plausible. I think episode 36 was our biggest, most popular episode. I got like over 300 views there, and I think I got just under or over 10 subs. But like the last video got only about 50 views, and I think I only got maybe 3 subs from that. Still a good number, but that's not 10, and that's not going to get me to 100. So, if we don't, I don't really care. I'm just looking to get to episode 50, because that's going to be a good one. Also, I'd just like to apologize for these earlier clips. I did just wake up, so voice is a little raspy. So let's talk about what we're going to do in today's episode. I mentioned that obviously we passed 50 subs, and I do want to commemorate that. I've thought of a few ways on how we can do that, but since we are currently working on the library, I'd like to somehow incorporate it into the library. And I've got 2 ways I'm thinking I'm going to do that. So firstly, the next objective for the library is going to be putting the ceiling on. It's a sort of like scalloped design for these long rectangular sections. And then in the middle here, it's just kind of a big plate, like a little higher than the scallop ceiling. I think we're going to put a sign on there that says something along the lines of thank you for 50 subs, or like thanks for 50 subs. I don't know how much space I'll have. But I think that'll be nice, because you won't really notice it, but if you look up, you'll see it. And I think we might do like water with glowstone behind it. Oh, but we don't have any just yet. So I might do like lava or brick, maybe obsidian, something to pop it out. But another thing I wanted to do is put some signs up. I was thinking about this before, we hit 50 subs. I want to put signs just kind of around on the bookshelves, because it'll break up that visual monotony of just all of these bookshelves. See, that looks better already. But they're just, blank signs. So I figured if subs wanted their names on these signs, we could make that happen. Now, I made a community post saying pretty much what I just said to you, and leave your name in the comments of this post. Maybe 5 minutes ago, kind of foolish on my part because I've had the last 2 weeks to make that post and take in replies, but I was on vacation, so I forgot. So hopefully people reply in time, of this video being finished. Otherwise, I'll probably keep adding names for a little while afterwards, because I assume we're not going to get so many new subs that, I won't be able to tell who's who, who's fake and who's real. And honestly, even if they were fake, I'd still probably put their names on because they're subbing to me. I'm realizing now that this video is probably going to be short in content. It will still probably be 30 minutes long, but it definitely won't be over the same like 2.5 week span that my other videos are. The reason being I want this video to come out a bit sooner since I was away on break. But I have a few ideas that I'd like to communicate with you. Now, I said that we're going to work on the library, and of course we will. But while I was away, I was also thinking about just how I want to structure my world. Every 50 episodes, I think we'll probably give out a world download. And I expect people to download that and run around and explore stuff. And you'll probably look at just the stuff that I've built here. But I want there to be stuff that you haven't seen me build, and that you're like, wait, what's that little thing over there? What's that stone circle, that obsidian cube, that weird kind of church-looking thing? Maybe a temple? That's weird. Let's go look at it. So what I think I'm going to do while I'm, working on the series here is I will just occasionally go out and build something weird. And then anybody who downloads the world can go and find it in the future if they so please. And it'll just kind of round out the history of the memoir here, because I want this to be not just things, that I've built here, but like things that I have implied to not build, if that makes sense. Just fell off the roof, so that's why I'm at half health. But here is how that signage will work out. I really like this idea. It kind of looks like some books have been withdrawn. So there's some empty spots in the bookshelves. Gives it a little character, breaks up these flat walls. I only did the bottom section here because I'm not really sure how to navigate up to that top level now. I did a lot of that like kind of parkouring as I was building, so. But I wanted to show you generally, find a good spot here. Do right here. So generally, all I'm going to do is, here as an example, I'm going to use Tetris because they are easily my most active viewer. Thank you, Tetris. This is how their username appears on YouTube, so I assume that's how they'll want it. If not, I can always change it, of course. And I can change the location of it. But yeah, just a little thing. You're barely going to notice it as you're walking around through here, but it's a nice little touch, and it feels very personal. So, yeah. Okay, so before we start working on the ceiling here, I made 2 quick changes. Firstly, this one's really minor. I punched out all of the torches on this center walkway, except for that redstone torch. That's the center of this whole Aleph library. But the other torches just made it look like too crowded, and there's no issues with lighting, so it works out. And secondly, you can see right here, actually, I didn't patch this up. I was trying to figure out a way to get to like these ends of the library, because as it is now, you have to go all the way up these stairs, through that door, walk all the way around, and then you can get to this end. And on this side, I think that's okay, because that room there is going to be kind of like a secret room. Not exactly secret, but it's going to be more of a isolated cubby. So I'm fine with leaving that. But I want to get to this one more easily, because that's more an accessible part of the library. So you can see I added in this small hallway. It's nothing major. I had to redo this fencing And I think that looks nice. It's like there's smaller secondary support beams. And that was just kind of random, but it looks good. And then I had to put in a crafting table here because my picks broke, actually. Oh, wait, that's supposed to be there. Yeah. And it's just a single wide on 2 ways up. So, it brings you about here. That's pretty good. It's out of the way. It's small, but you can get to over here more easily now. Okay, so what we need now for our ceiling is copious amounts of stone that we do not have, unfortunately. You can see I'm cooking up a bunch here, but we only have, yeah, about 18 stacks, so not enough. But we also don't have enough furnaces to like cook up enough at a time. So I'm thinking we're gonna have to expand our furnace array here. Let me just get my stuff in the chest. And we'll probably craft, maybe 32 furnaces. Man. Oh, geez, I hope this isn't too loud. I haven't been using that auto clicker I featured in the previous videos just because I haven't turned it on, and you have to turn on the app every time you turn your computer back on, and I frequently have to walk away from my computer. So but yeah, I think we're just going to use this room here because I had this empty space. Oh, guess I didn't need 32. So yeah, we'll get that going, and hopefully we'll have enough. The outer rim of the library is just going to be like flat stone, and then the intersection has more of a design. So that still means we need a lot of just regular stone because the flat bits is more surface area than the middle section. All right, so I have built up a bit of a store here. I haven't shown any of it on camera because it's been kind of boring just carting back items back and forth. So now I'm going to start working on just, covering up these side rooms. Okay, here's how we're looking with the outer roofs put up, outer ceilings. I suppose they're ceilings, but they're probably going to be the roof in here too. I'm thinking that the exterior is just going to form a bit of a shell, and then we'll extend the stone across and it'll just be like a flat stone ceiling, except in the middle where it'll pop up a little bit. This was shockingly easy to get done. You kind of get in a rhythm and just spam clicking. So I only put stone in sections where it actually had to be to seal in the building. That makes sense? Yeah. So I didn't place them on top of these beams, though I might in the future. That'll really depend on how I want the final design to look, and that'll be after I assemble this intersection. All right, it has taken a while, but here's how this part of the ceiling is looking so far. You can see I added those dirt supports because I need to add the little curved fence bits in those corners. So I was just prepping. So I'm just going to mirror this on the other side, and then we'll have a rectangle in the middle here for the next bit. Oh man, it really is coming together. All we have left is just this little middle section, at least for the inside. The exterior is obviously not completed. Man, I've kept this spawner here basically since we started making the library. It was here before the library. And I really want to keep it, but man, it is hard to work in. I'm thinking if worst comes to worst, I might just turn it into a chandelier or something. since everything else will be lit up nearby, it won't be able to spawn, and I can get rid of this ugly, stone cube. Otherwise, we would probably have to wait quite a while until like that transparent but also dark glass. I can't even remember what it's called. It's in like one of the newer versions. But we would have to wait for that to come out, and that's way too much time. That is literal years down the line. So either we'll figure that out or just turn it into a chandelier. But next thing for this middle section here, I need a bunch of obsidian and a bunch of lava. So let me go stockpile some of that. So this is how it looks now. This took quite a while, actually. I believe it was 98 pieces of obsidian, and I'm not 100% sure, but I think in this version, it takes about 30 seconds for each piece of obsidian. So I just turned a show on. But now what I need to do is make a small stone frame, 1 block up, and then I'm going to start on the ceiling design. Oh man, actually, before I start working on it, check out the center ceiling. That looks so good. I love the way that this curves in, and then there's a nice square bit. That's great. Okay. So now let me get up there and start designing it. Okay, so I think I just made a big oopsie here. I can't look up. I don't want to give away what the final ceiling is, but I think we got away with it. I don't think this is gonna burn anything in our giant wooden library. I think it just hit the stairs here, which aren't flammable, thankfully. So finally, after that little lava fiasco, I got the ceiling here patched up, and it is all done. Not the roof, just the ceiling, mind you. I still have to build up that stone border there. I think I might put grass on the ceiling and stuff like that, or on the roof again. Man, I keep switching those. But all in all, I really like the way that the ceiling of the library looks without the roof shell on it. It has a nice flowing shape. And this cobblestone, underneath this cobblestone is where the lava is. It actually looks pretty good. It looks like I'm supposed to stand here. So I might just leave this as the floor layer for the 4th floor where we put our portal. So yeah, let's run down and we can do the final reveal of the ceiling. So it actually took a while for me to decide what I wanted the ceiling design to be. This one came pretty naturally because I just did some Google reference imaging. But the center, I wasn't really sure, about what ornate design to throw in. However, ultimately I decided, this is a 50 sub special. I'm putting the signs on the bookshelves, and the library needs to be done by episode 50, so it's a very 50 heavy place. Being such, also just random sheep, I'm not sure where that came from. Thank you. There we go. Thank you for 50 subs. I really appreciate it. I figured this sign was probably the best way to commemorate it all. And it came out very well. I was worried that some of the letters wouldn't fit, but I managed to squeeze them all on there. Some of the letters, are kind of bad, like the F and the R there. And that 5 and that S, I really had to make sure looked different. They weren't just S0 subs. But yeah. Now that this is up here though, this thing definitely needs to be changed or just go in some way. It is very obtrusive. So either A, I'll work on that, B, I'll work on the shell of this whole place, or C, I'm thinking we want to work on some small extraneous thing. This is a celebration after all. I don't want it to be just the library. Right, so, uh, the last clip was a few days ago. I signed off here at the mob farm. I did some building while I was slightly inebriated. Not excessively so, just having a good old evening playing some Minecraft. But that being the case, I don't remember what building I did, because it was a few days ago, and I have just a terrible memory. It's not like I'm becoming blackout and can't remember anything. But here's the progress on the exterior of the library so far. You'll notice, again, I've kept that theme of swapping out a glowstone block with something else. But since I usually use white wool for that, and white wool is already present in the build, I used dirt. So it looks kind of ugly, but it's at least close enough in color. On top of that, I got the smooth stone slab like border put up. This is the bottom part, so there's still like another section of that final rim around the roof. But here is how that looks. Maybe I should go in the middle. Yeah. One thing I do remember while I was building over there is that I actually ran out of space. I thought I gave myself plenty of space. Space wasn't actually even a concern when I started this build. Although, that was not started with this whole project in mind, so. So over here you can see what I mean. It got right up against the greenhouse. I was shocked. It actually touches it right here. But I think we got away with it. It's really interesting working in this world. I feel like this is something that a lot of other people playing Minecraft on camera don't experience. Is that since this series goes so slowly, and I really have to grind out resources, it's just so bare bones that uh, civil design and putting buildings in actually mirrors the real world more than it does modern versions of Minecraft. Because you have to really predict, okay, I'm going to make this thing over here, and while there's this building over here, this might eventually grow all the way over here. So I definitely didn't consider that because that was 3 months ago when I started working in the library. But it's very interesting. I'll have to keep that in mind for future builds, really giving myself enough space and maybe designing the exterior before I design the interior, or at least giving myself some wiggle room. Okay, so I actually had a plan on how I wanted the last 5 minutes of this video to go. Us doing something kind of off topic here, maybe doing a little minor build off in the woods somewhere. But I kind of got distracted and ended up doing it without you. And I'm sorry. We'll do another one. But at the very least, I'll show you what I did here. Now, I've mentioned how I want to just kind of round out my world, put random structures that you're like, oh, what's that off in the distance? Let me go look. And half the time the structure doesn't even do anything, but it's just a nice thing to look at, makes you question the world and what you're doing. So, as you can see, I just built these random cobblestone cylinders. There are varying heights and widths, but they are all cylindrical, or as cylindrical as I can get them. Some of the smaller ones are kind of square, because that's just, how circles kind of shrink down to in Minecraft. Eventually you'll get down to a circle that is this, and that is 4 corners of a square. So, oh man, yeah. So yeah, none of them have anything in them. And the ones that you can see light at the top, I tried putting torches along the rims that mobs didn't spawn up there, but I don't think I got that one or that one or that one. Oh, but I think I got the one in the back over there. So I think this looks really cool. I think I might put one more tiny one back there. So what I think we're going to build here is actually this guy that I suggested a really long time ago and sort of framed out here. It's going to be really simple, just like two stone columns over there in that ring of torches and here. And then probably just a flat stone plate across. It's going to go maybe 6 blocks above the bridgeway here. It's going to be purely decorative. Again, there's probably not even going to be anything on top there. Or if I do put something up there, it'll be just a little secret treat thing. I fell. Every time I climb up that tower, every time I'm like, man, I really need to do something about the way getting up. And then I never do because anytime I'm visiting, I'm either carting over minecarts or I've died and I don't have anything to build with me. But like, it's absurd. That dirt staircase and then like the boat waterfall sort of worked, but it doesn't always, so I don't usually use it. Like, I have the wood to make ladders. I could so easily do that. So this looks bad. I really thought it would look good, but I think I had imagined these pillars being like closer together, so this span wouldn't have to be as long. I imagined it more square, less giant rectangle. So I think I'll probably tear it down or just change it up somehow. It's really unfortunate because I placed a bunch of stone and realized that these weren't in a perfect diagonal, which is fine, but they also weren't in any diagonal that like had good divisors. So I couldn't like break it up into smaller chunks. So basically I had to like tear it down and rebuild it, and then it just doesn't look good, which is fine. It happens. So instead, I started working on more of the exterior here to wrap up this episode. I'm gonna finish off by showing you I put a little aleph on the side of the aleph library, and there's one on the other side, or there will be, but I think that side is more buried, so you'll probably only see like one piece of wool at the top. But yeah, look at this thing. It's looking great. I'm really struggling with this design, like trying to put interesting blocks on the wall and keep them all straight because like some of them like are different widths, so I'm trying to make sure the pattern kind of repeats. But all in all, I think it looks great. So, oh my gosh, okay. Well, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much again for 50 subscribers, or plus 50. I think we're at like 56 now. I really appreciate it. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care.